In this black and white photograph, Bruce Lee stands as if he has frozen time itself with the nunchaku in his hand. His bare torso, where every muscle is perfectly defined in this frame, shows us not just physical strength, but a visual manifestation of years of discipline and dedication. The nunchaku is raised upward in Lee's right hand, while his left hand is tense like a bow, waiting for the next movement. The wooden structure in the background, reminiscent of traditional Chinese architecture, makes this moment even more meaningful. This is not just a training photograph. It's a snapshot where East meets West, where tradition meets modernity. Nunchaku, Bruce Lee's signature. Bruce Lee's use of the nunchaku is considered a turning point in martial arts history. Particularly the nunchaku scenes in the 1972 film Fist of Fury made this Okinawan weapon popular worldwide. Lee didn't see the nunchaku as merely a weapon. He considered it an extension of his body, a physical manifestation of his thoughts. His nunchaku techniques, capable of delivering up to 9 strikes per second, were a perfect example of Lee's trinity of speed, power, and precision. His stance in this photograph was likely captured during a film shoot or promotional photo session. Lee's gaze is focused on a point where concentration and inner strength converge, the body's narrative, the story of 3% body fat. Bruce Lee's physique in this photograph is a phenomenon still studied in sports science. Despite weighing only 61 kilograms and standing 1.72 meters tall, Lee's body was like an anatomy atlas. Chest muscles, abdominal muscles, arms, everything perfectly defined. Lee's body fat percentage is estimated to have been between 3 to 5%, a level difficult even for professional bodybuilders to achieve. But Lee wasn't a bodybuilder. He was after functional strength. Every muscle had a purpose. Every movement had a function. The stance in this photograph is not just aesthetic, but a moment when explosive power waits ready. Lee's fitness routine included 6 to 8 hours of training daily, a comprehensive program including cardio, strength work, flexibility, coordination, and of course combat techniques. The mystery of the shooting location, Hong Kong's golden years. The wooden structure details in the background of this photograph, reminiscent of traditional Chinese architecture, most likely indicate a film set or training studio in Hong Kong. The early 1970s was the period when Bruce Lee was rising in the Hong Kong film industry. Films shot after his agreement with Golden Harvest Studios, The Big Boss, 1971, and subsequent films made Lee a star not only in Asia but worldwide. Such promotional photographs were critical for marketing films. Black and white shots fit perfectly with the cinematic aesthetic of the era and brought out the contrast of Lee's muscles more dramatically. The angle of light was professionally adjusted to emphasize every contour of his body. Bruce Lee's stance in this photograph is a physical representation of his Jeet Kune Do philosophy. Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist, was Lee's own martial arts system that he began developing in 1967. Rejecting the rigid forms of traditional martial arts, Lee said, "True knowledge is self-knowledge." The ready position seen in this photograph reflects one of the fundamental principles of Jeet Kune Do, being ready to move at any moment, but not clinging to any shape. Lee's famous words perfectly summarize this concept. Be empty, be shapeless, be like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. If you put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. If you put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. In this photograph, Bruce Lee's gaze is directed upward, probably focused on an imaginary opponent or a target. Lee believed that 90% of fighting was mental. The philosophy of don't think, be, was the foundation of all his teachings. He would say that before facing an opponent, you must defeat them mentally. The intense concentration in this photograph is a reflection of Lee's meditation practice and mental discipline. Lee meditated for at least 30 minutes daily, and during this process, he not only emptied his mind, but also visualized his techniques. The saying, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times, was a product of this depth. The nunchaku grip in this photograph shows how Bruce Lee turned the weapon into a body extension. In traditional nunchaku holding technique, the weapon is held loosely in the hand, allowing for rapid rotation. Lee's hand in this position reflects the perfect balance of control and power. The position with one end of the nunchaku up and the other hanging down offers infinite possibilities for the next movement: side strike, overhead strike, block or spiral attack. Lee had brought nunchaku training to such a level that he could work with his eyes closed. In some interviews, he was even seen keeping a ping-pong ball in the air with nunchaku, an incredible display of hand-eye coordination and reflexes. The period when this photograph was taken, the early 1970s, was the years when Bruce Lee became not just a martial artist, but a cultural icon. In an era when the Vietnam War was ongoing and the civil rights movement was at its peak, Lee was a source of pride for Asian communities. He rejected the stereotypical roles Hollywood offered to Asian actors and carved his own path. These photographs were used in magazines, posters, and film posters of the era. Each carried Lee's message to the world. Race, physical size, or geographical origin are not obstacles to true power and mastery. Lee's challenge to Hollywood and his success continues to be a source of inspiration for millions living in the Asian diaspora, even today. Bruce Lee's physique in this photograph was the result of his revolutionary training philosophy. In the 1960s, while most martial artists only practiced kata and techniques, Lee was one of the first to combine Western-style weight training, cardio, flexibility work, and nutritional science with martial arts. His daily routine included morning run, punching bag work, weight training, technical work, sparring, and flexibility. Lee's approach to training was scientific. He would analyze every movement, constantly questioning what it did and how it could be improved. He had a massive library at home, hundreds of books on martial arts, philosophy, psychology, kinesiology, nutrition. This photograph is the physical manifestation of all this accumulation. Bruce Lee left us in 1973 at just 32 years old, but photographs like this immortalized his legacy. This frame is not just a body, but visual proof of a philosophy, a lifestyle, unlimited potential. Lee's teachings are still valid today. Limits are only an illusion. The impossible is only what hasn't been tried yet. The purpose of life is happiness. The means is love. Every time we look at this photograph, we should remember not only how powerful a warrior Lee was, but also what a deep thinker and visionary he was. The nunchaku in his hand is more than a weapon. It's a symbol of the human spirit and will. And this frozen moment reminds us, true mastery emerges when you unite body, mind, and spirit. What's hidden in this black and white frame is not just the image of a martial artist. This is a document of an era, a philosophy, unlimited human potential. Bruce Lee's gaze in this photograph still challenges us 50 years later. How great can you become? Where are your limits? Lee's life and legacy teach us that true strength is not measured in kilograms or muscles. It is found in the depth of the soul and the clarity of the mind. And perhaps that's why such a photograph is still so powerful, so inspiring.